On the phone, we'll be speaking with Vitus Azim, who is the Executive Director of Ghana Integrity Initiative. But in the studio, we have two gentlemen from the House of Parliament. The Member of Parliament for the Pandai constituency is Mr. Matthew Nidam. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Nice.
And then from the whole West constituency, Mr. Emmanuel Bedzra, Honorable Member of Parliament. You're both welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And the chaplain of the House.
Oh, he's also a chaplain of the member of the House. Yes. Fantastic.
To be acknowledged. It's a big post.
Okay, all right. Okay, so he prays for all your health and safety and everything.
Anytime I meet him like this, I'm not very comfortable.
All right, listen, so we're asking that question again, and be sure to join in that conversation. When does that gift become a bribe? And how are we able to ensure the governments shield themselves from interests of conflicts? So that is what we're talking about. Let me quickly come to you, Honorable Bedzra, Chaplain. So when does a gift become a bribe?
Well, first of all, let me say good morning to our cherished viewers and condolence to our President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has lost a mother. I understand the burial will be tomorrow. We wish him well, and his siblings and the entire Mahama family. We wish them well. Well, there's a thin line between a gift and bribe. For me, I look at it from different angle. If you talk about gift, we look at it from our history. The history of Ghana, we all know that you can't go to a chief's house without giving him a gift. You, as politicians, we go to a chief's house to present the chief with at least a token before.
That was modern day rule.
Olden day rule.
I mean, olden day rule.
Olden day rules, including the modern day rules. Even now, you cannot go to a chief's house. And it has, it has been the system, it's been the norm with us. I mean, even till now, you go to a big man house, you want to say good morning to the person, you want to present the person a gift, or you want to talk to somebody, go to the person's office after, helping you. So thank you very much. So there's a thin line between a gift and a bribe. Now we have come out with our own rules, code of conduct for office holders, that's public office holders. As a member of parliament and a member of the Global Action for Members Against Corruption, we have rules that pertains to what is a gift and what is a bribe. Where does it become a bribe? If it tends to influence you to do things for the person, the giver, then it becomes a bribe. But if it is just a gift that will not eventually or in the future influence you to do anything for the giver, then it's not a bribe. I think our code of conduct has taken it further. That anything beyond 200 Ghana cedis, which is $50, will not be deemed as a bribe.
Anything beyond 50 or less?
Anything less, anything less $250 will not be deemed as bribe. And also it should come from your family members if it's above the 200 mark. That is what is defined as a gift or a bribe. We will come to the real issue, which is trending now. That is the president taking a gift from a Bukanabe contractor. I think that is the real meat that trending now. First of all, let us find out whether the gift was given to him, the car was given to the president to unduly influence him in award of all the contracts that the man has received. The first one has to do with a road contract we all know. And as a procurement professional, we have what we call the procurement process. This project, that's the Dopepeso to Nkwanta Road, was awarded under international competitive bidding with European Union grant or European Union financing. And European Union will not give a project because at the end of it, they have to give you what we call no objection. Is there anything that in the process that proves that the process has been unduly altered or influenced, they will not give the no objection to you for you to award. Okay. This tells us that nobody influenced the decision. Anybody at all can bid for it, being a Ghanaian or a foreigner can be for, because open tender.
Okay.
Advertise.
All right. We are running a little bit ahead of ourselves, but we'll get to that. We'll get to all those specifics right now. But thanks for those introductory comments, by the way. Mr. Nyidam, when does a gift become a bribe? Same question that we asked your colleague.
Let me also say good morning to your viewers. Then good morning to my constituents, the people of Pandai. Then also empathise with the family of our president. But unfortunately, yesterday he seems not to be mourning. So he was also campaigning when the mother was dead. So that's, by the way, a gift becoming a bribe. Like he said, there is actually a thin line that separates a gift from a bribe. And there is nothing wrong with somebody giving you something. Even the Bible says you are going to be blessed and you'll be a blessing to others. So which means when you are blessed, in a way, you have to extend your generosity to others. And then the Bible also says that, look, if you want to give to people who will pay you back, even unbelievers, that's same. So you give to people who cannot reward you back. So you give to the needy. And per the definitions that my brother gave, which I am totally in support. We are talking about people of influence. If today, Kafi, you are here, you have the capacity to influence certain things. Then somebody comes to your office, offer you a gift. Yes, the person will not say, I'm bribing you. The person will definitely say, it's a gift. But I can tell you the person is indirectly corrupting you.
How do you come to that conclusion?
That's what I'm saying, that you are in the position of influence.
Because of my position?
Yes. And that thing the person is giving to you, you have the capacity, the ability to do better than that. If the person presents that thing to you, that I'm just giving you this, the person is corrupting you.
Even if I declare it and say, this is what has been given to me.
Coming. You brought one adjective. You declare. There is a declaration. It's a different thing.
So would this conversation have been different if there had been a declaration?
Yeah, I'm coming. But we'll get there. Okay. Then, even the issue we're discussing and the president we're talking today, they've been, let me call it a fiat in a way, or a decree, that you don't take hampers from anybody if you're a government appointee. Do not accept anything hampers. And beyond that certain level. Those days, when parliament is rising, you see people give this, people, go to ministry. It started from President Mills. And Mahama endorsed it. Okay? That tells you that he's fully aware that if you are taking something of a kind, you will be induced to not to think right. Okay? So they are aware. Government appointees, everybody, including the president himself, is aware.
Public officers, yeah.
Everybody is aware. So if today we are talking about a car worth $100,000, and when this issue broke, they even denied until they came to confirm that it was a gift. And this man,
even when he wasn't the president yet, and when before the code of conduct had been published in 2013.
He was a vice president.
He was. You just want to make things clear. That's all.
He was a vice president.
He was a public officer. Yes, definitely.
So it's still holding. Okay. Until they themselves issued that statement by saying it was a gift. It's true. It's a gift. It's our own man. It's our president. Kufuor had a gift from the Libyan president.
What kind of gift was that?
It was a car.
Okay.
It was, I think, S500.
A Benz.
Was it the one that was involved in the accident?
Yes. You know what he did? It was public. There was a ceremony. Okay. When the Libyan representative, that is the ambassador, came with the car, there was a public ceremony. It was organized. He received the car, thanked him on behalf of the people of this country, handed over the keys to the chief of staff, and the car was put in the fleet of cars.
The same pool that this Ford entered.
That's what they say.
Okay.
So the only difference here is that for President Kufuor, it was declared.
That's
it was
what I'm
put
saying.
out there.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why Kafi put that question early on.
Exactly.
Does that make any difference?
It makes. Until that young boy, Manasseh Azure, came with a story, you wouldn't have been in the known that the president was giving a car. Wouldn't have even been discussing it today. Until somebody went nosing around and got to know that this like this happened. And it did not even happen to any ordinary person. Somebody who had won billions of dollars contracts.
Billions? Oh, not billions.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Are you comfortable with that?
I am.
I'll withdraw the other billion.
Too many zeros.
Are you getting what I'm saying? Somebody who has won contracts under your regime, who is currently working for you.
Does it at any point become acceptable when you are able to take that gift? Does it at any point become acceptable as a public officer?
Well,
Honorable Benjamin.
Well, let me first of all correct some impression before I come to your question. Yes, indeed, President Kufuor received and declared. Everybody has his way of declaring. President Mahama decided that yes, this has been given to me personally. I will not register it into my name because I know it to have an undue influence over me. Therefore, let me add it to the fleet of presidential vehicle. And he has added to...
But it was an error of judgment that would not have been made public but for this report.
Well,
we didn't know anything about this car 2 days ago.
You know, I don't want to go into the equalization.
No, it's not equalization. It's just a fact
I want to
that
it
was
ask,
not declared
when President Kufuor, somebody gave me about $40,000 or $400,000 to renovate his house. Did he declare it? There was no declaration at that time.
And what happened?
What happened? Somebody went around nosing and came out with a report.
Just like what has happened now.
So let's face it. What is it? He has received a car, gave it to the presidential staffers that yes, this gift has come to me and I'm giving it to the pool.
But we did it.
He would have just decided that, well, I'll keep it as mine, and that becomes a personal gift.
Yeah, but we didn't know about it. That's the issue.
Whether you know about it or not,
we have to know because these are public officers. We didn't know, and that's the only reason why we are making so much noise is that we
because he has not declared openly.
4 years ago, we didn't know 4 years ago.
Openly.
And now we know. But for the tenacity of the journalist, we wouldn't have known. Then it begs the question, what else is happening that we don't know about?
Kafui, if he has not given it to the pool, that's where we have a problem. If it's between 1 or 2 people.
But is it even true that the car has gone to the pool? How do we verify
it? It is there. That is why they've given it out. That if you want it, come to the Flaster house. The car is there among the pool of
I'm actually hearing conflicting reports now. Yes, that statement that came from the communication industry said that yes, it is there, but it was the personal gifts. You have alluded to that one as well. And yesterday I heard other members of your party say that there was no such gifts, presented to the president. But I want to make it clear also that in this case, it was unlike President Kufuor's case, which was one president, presenting that gift to another president. Yeah. It is not the situation, in this case. It was some contractor who had some kind of interest, presenting that gift.
I've mentioned the renovation of his house as another case. There are too many cases that we can talk about when it comes to President Kufuor, but because we are not talking about equalization, we will not go there. Now let's face this one. Yes, indeed, the car has come, he has received it, and he has donated or given it to the pool. That's it. Whether it's declared to the whole nation as President Kufuor did when Gaddafi gave it to him from president to president, or from an individual, since he's not using it from the fact or from what we know, it's been given to the pool.
So it's not a big deal?
For me, it's not a big deal.
It would have been if it had gone to, let's say, the president's hometown.
And then he has registered his name, then he's now going to be unduly influenced by the same person. Let us not forget that this contract that they are talking about was awarded to this man when he was not the president. We started this bidding process in 2010. We should go and check the record. 2010, when they started bidding process of that project. Was he the president? He was a vice president. Had he had any
public officer?
Yes.
No, but the gift was given to him in 2012.
Yes.
Not at the 2010 when he was a public officer, when he was a vice president.
But there's supposed to be a current contract that has been awarded him.
Which one? The road from Hamlet to... No, that has not been awarded.
Okay.
Or you mean the fencing of the the fencing of the...
I know
Burkina
there's
Faso.
a recent one that is being awarded him, but
It's not be
Honorable Major,
awarded.
the president doesn't award contracts. So why the big deal about this?
We are running an executive presidency. So obviously the president cannot be everywhere. But at the end of the day, the buck stops at him. I will agree that the president doesn't award contracts. But that doesn't seem so. You see, sometimes this man, like I said, is our chaplain, and the chaplain should be speaking the word of God. You see,
Please don't attack him
I'm
personally.
not attacking him. That's what I've believed in doing, and he's comfortable with that.
I'm not.
He is comfortable.
This is our place. We are not comfortable with
Okay.
that. Let's stick to the
Are you
issues.
comfortable?
No personal
Continue.
attacks. No personal attacks. Let's
You
deal
know,
with the issues.
what I'm saying is that what the president did is unconstitutional.
Cite the Constitution, part of the Constitution which has been breached.
I won't quote the Constitution for you. Those who are ready to quote you, hear them talk about it. But I'm
What
telling
has
you
he
that
breached? You can't make a
You see-
statement and just leave it hanging like a bat.
It will not be hanging.
Yeah. So what is unconstitutional about
Our
what he's done?
Constitution, okay, unfortunately, I don't have the...
No, you will find it. When you say it, I'm sure my producers will throw it out at you.
There is a pure conflict of interest in this matter.
As the 1992 Constitution provides
conflict
that
of
a
interest.
public officer
Yes.
shall not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicts or is likely to conflict with the performance of the functions of his office.
Thank you, my dear.
What is the president's personal interest in this matter?
Oh, we are talking about a car, okay? That somebody bought a car for you,
Okay.
okay? As a president. You see, and I understand why
was a vice president.
when they asked him, President, do you take bribe? He was not able to answer.
Oh, he answered.
He asked whether as a human being or as a president.
That's an answer.
But he gave
Which
an
means-
answer.
Which means...
Maybe it might not have been the answer you wanted. But
No,
that was an
no,
answer.
but obviously...
He wasn't
if
quiet.
If you go to exams, they ask you questions, you provide answers.
Yes, so that
some
was
are
an
marked
answer.
wrong, some are marked right. In this case, he provided an answer.
Of course.
So he answered.
Okay.
But to ask whether you, as a human being, as of a president,
Okay.
tells me that maybe in one breath, he took bribe.
Let's compartmentalize the
it's
conversation.
the
let's
same
let's
thing.
deal with this
It's the
one.
same thing. Are you getting
You
me?
said that there's
So,
a possible
yes,
conflict of interest,
yes.
and based on what I just read something, please read that again for me.
Right. So, as per the 1992 Constitution, that public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interest
Yes.
conflicts or is
Exactly.
likely to conflict with the performance
There is a
of the
conflict in
functions
this
of his
sense.
office. And
What is
Kafu
the
is asking
president's interest?
the
The
interest.
present interest is the car.
Okay.
They provide you a car worth $100,000.
That is one car out of the fleet.
Which fleet? We are talking about, this is the particular guy we're talking about. Somebody that is working, is gaining contracts under you, buys you such a car
Okay.
as a president, and you decided to be silent. You never mentioned it to anybody. Even when the story broke, your communicators denied
Okay.
until the voice and everything was played on multimedia. Then you came out, your communicators or the Minister for Communication, then write this to us, say that yes, that story is true. And when you receive that, we are talking about 2012, 4 years down the line,
Okay.
4 years.
Let's see what kind of problems this may pose to the government and public officers. On the line now, we have the Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative, Mr. Vitus Azim. Good morning. Welcome to GH Today.
Yeah, good morning.
It's a pleasure to have you. How can the issue of conflict of interest be handled?
Line is not good.
Can you hear me, Mr. Azim?
Yeah.
We want to know, how can the government shield itself from issues of conflict of interest?
I don't know why.
Mr. Azim, can you hear me?
Yes, okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pleasure for you to join our conversation. We're looking at the issue of when a gift becomes a bribe, following revelations yesterday about this vehicle that was supposed to have been given to the president as a gift. And my question is, how do you handle conflict of interest issues as a public officer?
Well, the Constitution provides, makes a provision for conflict of interest issues, but leaves it with the SHRIC, and SHRIC has developed some guidelines for handling conflict of interest issues. And also, a number of institutions, including the president, have come out with code of ethics for the various stakeholders. And so the guidelines are provided, and every public officer is required to avoid doing anything that would put his or her personal interest above that of his or her official duties.
Mr. Azim, I know that you're following this story of this Ford expedition gifts to the president. What is your own take on this?
Well, I think that there are a number of questions that probably still need to be answered. One, are they friends? Did the person who gave the gift, is he a friend to the president? What was the motive for giving the present to the president? Did he give it in appreciation of previous past favors or in expectation of future favors? So those are the questions that will normally come around in a conflict of interest discussion. And then, of course, you also look at the value of the car. There must be a good reason for you to give the car worth that much to a person. Even if you are very good friends, even if you are family members, it requires a lot of strength to be able to do that. And so these are some of the issues that still have not been answered.
So what for you would have been that best practice? What do you think that the president should have done in this case?
Well, according to the SHARC guidelines, you see, if somebody gives you a gift, even if in your absence, you are supposed to return it, to reject it, and return it to the people, the person who was giving the gift, if you think that it will compromise your position. If the gift is a perishable thing, then you are advised to give it maybe to a charitable organization. In other cases, you should declare to your employer or your superiors that had this gift, and you leave it to your employer to decide, to take a decision on how to handle the situation.
I see government officials taking precedence in this whole issue. Now we're citing, former President Kufuor's gifts from Libya, for instance, and the talk about how that all various presidents have received gifts. Should any president receive any gift at all?
Well, I think that when a new issue comes up, we should not always refer back and make comparisons of what has happened in the past. It happened in the past. We didn't do much about it. Should we continue to allow it to happen because it happened in the past? We know presidents travel, ministers travel, and they are giving goats and sheep and even cows by chiefs and all that. But is it the right thing for us to do? Shouldn't we be thinking about how do we stop this? Because if a chief or a DC has to go to the chiefs and ask for a cow to present to a chief, to the president, the president does not need that cow. Or he had other sources taken care of fully by the state. So we should look at some of these things and do something about it. There has to be a way of stopping these things. And the best way is to reject it. Of course, people always say, if you do that, you offend the giver. But if you do it to one or two people with explanation, I am sure that the rest will not do the same thing.
Mr. Azim, what exactly has the president done wrong in this case?
Well, I have told you that Article 284 of the Constitution says that a public officer should not do anything that will put his or her personal interest above that of a public office. It could actually have happened, or it can just be perceived to have happened. So that looks improper. And I think that's the main thing. That if the facts show that, yes, he took this gift from this contractor who is doing business with Ghana government, you are a human being, you cannot be sure that you cannot be influenced in some of the transactions that the government has with this person. And that is the worry.
Okay. So if it is indeed found, who can now investigate this issue beyond a report from a journalist? Who can now investigate to find out exactly what happened and what conflict of interest may have been?
I think it's the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice. That is the role. That role has been given to the Commission by the Constitution.
But I also
the people to investigate further.
Right, but I also understand that the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice can only sit if they have a required number of commissioners, and as we speak right now, that number is not up to scratch. So then, what happens?
I think that as long as the institution exists, they can go ahead to do. I'm not sure. I'm yet to check that, but I think that otherwise they shouldn't exist. We cannot be paying them for 1 year now. The commissioner was removed about a year ago, and up to now, no commissioner has been appointed. We have only 2 deputy commissioners. One is acting. But I think it doesn't prevent them from doing their normal work.
Is it?
But of course, this also now gives us the prompting to call back again on the president to appoint the substantive commissioner or confirm the current one and appoint a deputy commissioner to replace him.
Is it far-fetched to believe that the president could be impeached on this particular matter?
I think it is just some discussion, but the opposition does not have enough votes. I don't think they would have enough votes to start an impeachment process. Besides, impeachment is a very tedious and long process. Many Ghanaians will not like such a process now that we are just preparing for elections in 5 months' time. I'm not sure there is something that can happen that would please many Ghanaians.
Are you saying Ghanaians will not have the appetite to impeach the president if it has been found that he had done something wrong?
Can you repeat that question? It was cutting again.
Are you saying that if it is established that indeed something went amiss, Ghanaians would not have the appetite to impeach their own president?
Well, even the process of establishing that it did happen may not even finish before the elections.
Mr. Azim,
even for Parliament to agree that the process should start, it's not an easy process. I'm not saying that it's not necessary or that it cannot be done, but it will be a very difficult process. And you know, we always politicize everything in this country, especially now. It's already like NDC defending an NPP certain that something should happen. And that always confuses the issues, and we are not able to take them up seriously.
Is this an action you would recommend, that at least start the process and let's see how far it goes?
Pardon?
Is impeachment an action you would recommend if it were indeed found out that there had been some wrongdoing somewhere?
Well, I think that will be left to the appropriate authorities, the Commission on Human Rights. For now, I cannot make any recommendation. It will be left to the Commission to take a decision on that. If they investigate and it's established, then the procedures are there for them to follow.
Mr. Azim, will you say, begin a process for Shraj to investigate this whole matter?
Pardon?
I'm asking if you would initiate a process for Shraj, for instance, to investigate this matter as an corruption campaigner.
I would not. I don't know if you are aware. I'm no longer working with the Ghana Integrity Initiative.
Yeah,
I'm asking we're looking at remedies. I mean, if indeed there was some violation, definitely it comes with punitive measures. And then you have explained.
I think that the Commission on Human Rights should initiate investigation, but you probably need somebody to take it up with Shraj before Shraj can start the investigation.
So somebody would have to report to Shraj and say, look, we find something wrong here. Please investigate for us. That will be the way to kickstart the process. Is that correct?
Yes, I think that's the way to start the process.
I'm looking at, the code of conduct. Do you think that the people who put this whole thing together were realistic? I mean, who will give the president a gift of 200 Ghana cedis?
I'm sorry, I haven't got that.
Mr. Azim, did you get my question?
No, can you repeat it?
I'm looking at the realities of this whole code of conduct and why anybody would give the president a gift of 200 Ghana cedis. Do you think that the people who put the code of conduct together were being realistic?
That is the problem, because sometimes we make some rules and they don't appear realistic or implementable. You see, because people will always say, oh, but this is just and be compared to, let's say, tips given in advanced countries for services in restaurants and bars. So the amount, the ceiling looks rather unrealistic. Because how would you go and give the president a certain amount of money? So, doesn't make sense. So probably we need to look at some of these provisions again and see how best we can. Maybe we do it according to categories of citizens.
Mr. Azim, looking at our culture where, and our guests have said it, that it's normal to give a gift to an important person, a chief. Do you reckon that our culture is far divorced from all these ideas of codes of conduct and ethical behavior? We are not integrating our culture into these things, and so people can basically act as Ghanaians and say, look, forget this. Well, I'm a Ghanaian. I'll give the man a gift. Thank you.
No, I think that people try to misinterpret issues by linking it to culture. When you look at culture, the argument that we can't go to a chief without giving him with empty hands. What do you take to the chief? What is the value? A bottle of schnapps? Would you go and give a chief a cow if you don't have a case before the chief or you don't want anything from the chief? So the culture aside, yeah, you're visiting a chief, you can give him a bottle of schnapps or something. But if in an election year you decide to give cars, vehicles to chiefs, like happened in during the Champon regime, this union government thing, you cannot say that it's culture.
Mr. Zin, would you want the president himself to speak on this issue instead of passing through the proxies?
I think that would be a good approach, even if not he himself, somebody who is close to him, like a special assistant or a personal secretary. Because when the governance structures take these things to defend, they may not have all the information. And they may not be able to convince Ghanaians on the truthfulness of the issues that they are raising. So some of these things are personal, and it would have been good for either the president or his close associate, maybe a personal assistant or personal secretary, who has close access to him at short notice, to be able to explain this better. It will be more convincing to Ghanaians than come out with an official statement. Because if you read the statement that was issued, definitely people will be able to punch holes into it.
What would you expect the president to say?
He never said anything about their relationship. What's the relationship between the contractor and the president that motivated him to give the gift? Then he goes to talk about the other road that is being worked on. The first one, he mentioned the other tenders, the other bidders. But the second one, they never talked about other. Was it one bidder? Was it so sourcing? And I think the people are saying it was so sourcing or something. So those are the issues. You can give a gift in appreciation of something or in expectation of something. And so it's difficult to try to separate the two. And so somebody closer should have a better explanation than the official statement.
Well, what would you, how do you see this ending, Mr. Zim?
I won't be surprised if after 1 week of talking, the matter is laid to rest.
Why are you so pessimistic?
Unless, of course, the media and the anti-corruption fighters continue to pursue it. And as I said, unless somebody takes it up with Shrag and calls for an investigation.
As the former head of the GII, would that somebody be you?
I don't think I have all the facts. I have the resources and the time to be able to take up this.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much.
Currently, I'm Mauritanian. I don't have money, so
and nobody's going to give you a car, also.
No.
I thank you very much, Mr. Vitus Azim, former Executive Director of the Ghana Integrity Initiative. You're watching Hard Talk. When does a gift become a bribe? How does the government shield itself from issues of conflict of interest? You can join the conversation on social media. Our Twitter handle is @GH1TV, all letters. And let's see your comments, hashtag GHToday. Our members of Parliament have been listening. Honourable Member of Parliament for Pandai, what are your comments?
Well, we've all heard.
Would you initiate an action like that to send it to Shraj?
Oh, like if I walk out here, I belong to the minority, but as an individual, I'll talk to a lot of people. And if need be, why not?
He says after 1 week, this thing will blow
Yes,
over.
that is
and
that
you
is
can't
Ghana.
impeach the president.
No,
because
it's
you don't
not
have
about
the numbers.
Oh no, we may not have the numbers. And like he said, even the timing is one thing. The timing is one thing because you have less than 6 months to go into a major
How much time
elections.
do you need to impeach a president? If it comes to that point, how much time do
You need to initiate a process. Like he said, Chiraj will have to go into the investigation. We have to give them some time. They have to come out with facts.
They're not even formed yet.
Yes,
They
yes.
don't have enough
It takes a lot of time. Okay, but purely as we do in this country, very serious issues. We talk just within a week. Something else happened, and then we all decide to forget about the old one. Then we begin to feed on the current issue. But this issue is a very thorny issue, a delicate issue. I remember Mills' time when the Minister for Roads, he was giving some Mercedes Benz. He was a minister.
of Ankara Road.
Achimota of Ankara.
Yes.
Oh, the BMW car
BMW.
you're talking
Thank you,
about.
the BMW car. What happened? Mills ordered that car be taken away from that minister. Why did he do that? Obviously, he thought this man will compromise. It's a gift, all right. Somebody gave it to him. But look at the car. Look at the amount of money that was used in purchasing that car. You are a human being, all right. So definitely, you get weak pulse when some of these things are given to you. You need to stand as a man and reject some of these things. Look, as a member of parliament, when I go to my constituency, people, one way or the other, they try to. But sometimes, I feel that, look, this man wants to induce my mind. You may not be able to say, take it away. But sometimes I try to tell them some of this is not necessary. Because the person comes with you with a problem and comes alongside with such a thing. Obviously, he's bribing you. What is it? It's a bribe.
You take it.
That's what I'm saying that, like he said, sometimes to say, take it away, it looks a little very difficult.
So you can sympathize with the president.
But you tell the person, yes, I sympathize with him. You see, I do sympathize with him. But he could have done better as a president.
Like what?
Oh,
Yeah.
if I were the president,
Yes.
and this man is bringing this thing, I'll talk to him. I'll tell him, look, this thing you're bringing, okay, I accept it. It's good. You are a friend. It's all right. But I can advise you that if I take this thing, the consequences thereof will be daring. So please, you can use it to do something, or take it and donate to somebody. You can take it wholeheartedly. Like I said, let it be public. Send it to some people who need it most. And you clear your name. But to pick it quietly, and all of a sudden you are caught in the web and you are now struggling to get yourself out. I think that it's not good enough.
Look, world leaders receive gifts. Let me quickly read us some right up here. So, the high-priced haul of several hundred presents, which was made public by the State Department last week, talking about the U.S., came in at a total estimated value of more than $1.5 million. But President Obama, like any other federal employee, is legally barred from accepting any of it outright. So what happens? So the president must reject the gifts and turn them over to the federal government, or what? Turn them over to the federal government, or should he choose to keep them, pay their fair market value? In the Obama's case, it continues that most of the items have been dispensed to the National Archives, while a few, including wines and perishables, are handled by the Secret Service.
That's exactly what has happened in the case of the president. The gift came to him, and he gave it to the federal government. He gave it to the national government. It's in the national pool, presidential pool. He's not using it for himself. In 2000, when we had Ghana at 50, was it 2000 or 2007? When we had Ghana, 2007, when we had Ghana at 50, what happened? We have to buy cars, we have to borrow cars for the usage of all the visitors that came to Ghana. We had somebody giving the president gift, he could have used it. And that is where we draw the line. Is he using it for his personal gain? Because our constitution says that anything that you do for your personal interest, or if your personal interest outweigh that of the national interest, then there is conflict of interest. The gift, is he using it personally, or is he giving it to the national cause? If it's for the national cause, I don't have problem. But if it is for his personal gain, I will join any crusader, I'll join anybody who want to impeach the president, I'll join the crusade and impeach him. So now, but here is a case where we all know that this gift is being used at the national level, not for himself.
So after the gift, what happened? This contractor, let's go back to the contractor, Kanazoe. Did he win a contract? Is that why we're all excited?
I think that's the problem we are facing now, that because he has a relation with the president, he's the president's friend, he claims he's the president's friend and he has given gift to the president, therefore, people assume that he'll be winning more contract with the influence of the president. But let's take it, the one that is creating problem, that he was sole sourced. He wasn't sole sourced. If you look at the report, we're told that 3 contractors bidded for what we call selective bidding. 3 contractors, bidded for the project. That's the fencing of our mission in Burkina Faso. And his company came on top and won. Did he do anything wrong there? Did he get the contract because he had an influence, or whoever awarded the contract had influence from above them? If there's nothing to prove that he was not given the contract because he's the president's friend, then we don't. I mean, there are so many people carrying themselves around in this country that they're president's friend, and they want influence. There are projects in this country that I know people are working on who claim they are president's friend. There are people too who are walking around, they don't even have projects, but they claim they are president's friend. We are all president's friend. So somebody should not be suffering because he claims he's a president's friend or he has given a gift to a president. If the gift is for him to win a contract, then I'm afraid that is not the best.
How uncomfortable is the president by all of this?
If I am the president, since my conscience tells me that this gift will not influence me, and therefore I've given it to the state, I will not have any problem with that. And I don't think he has a problem with it.
We'll take your questions on this issue. When does a gift become a bribe? 0288-500-600. Right after World in 60, you're listening and watching. You're listening to and watching Hard Talk on GH1 TV. Stay with us.
Russian Economy Minister Alexei says the prospect of Britain leaving the European Union was having a greater impact on markets than the U.S. Federal Reserve's decision to hold its key rate. South Korea's Vice Finance Minister says the country is considering a supplementary budget in addition to other measures to support the economy as domestic and global downside risks grow. A top United Arab Emirates diplomat says the UAE's involvement in more than a year of war in Yemen is practically over. The Russian Defense Ministry says on Moscow's initiative, a 2-day regime of calmness was introduced in Syria's largest city of Aleppo.
Okay. All right, well, you're still watching GH Today. We're live on GH1 TV and around the world at gh1tv.com with me, Beswa, and Kafui. And it's Hard Talk. And we're asking that question. When does that gift given you become a bribe? And does that amount to corruption in any way, especially in this case where the president has received the gift of a car? What are your questions? What are your comments, your contributions? Send them all to our social media platforms. And as well, we're looking at how governments can shield themselves from issues of conflicts of interest. We have loads of your messages coming in.
Yep.
Let me read this one from John, who says that if the court's judge received a gift of a goat and was fired by the president, what happens to a president who receives a gift of a car worth 100,000?
Suleimana Yakini at Suleimana_Yakini on Twitter says, a gift is rewarding someone for good deeds, while a bribe is giving money out to influence someone to do something in your favor.
Williams, that's Kosiamwa Williams from Kumasi and Tuakrum, says that if indeed rule of law is in effect in this country, then the president must be impeached. Let the judges who were sacked from collecting what they deemed as token.
Okay, so still on Twitter, Richie at Daku Richie says, if the president JM awarded the contract in the name of the state, then the vehicle should have been given to the nation as a gift. Well, the president didn't award any contract, by the way. He doesn't award contracts, but I get the import of what you're trying to say. Chachu Red tweeting at Atu_Kwamina1. It says, why do you receive such a gift in the first place? That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good question.
why did he receive it?
Why?
Yes.
Oh, that's the question.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
No, maybe
Honorable Chaplain, why did he receive the gift?
Why did he receive the gift?
Yes, it's a good question.
Why did he receive the
Yeah.
gift? I'm not a president.
No, but why would
My name
somebody,
is
why would a
Emmanuel
public officer receive such an expensive gift?
We are saying,
$100,000
we all read from the
gift.
Constitution. We all read from the Constitution that if this gift will be used for your personal gain, then it is a gift. It's a bribe. But if it to be used for the state, it's not a bribe. Obama has received.
No,
Obama,
but the code of conduct doesn't say that. It says that as that public officer,
Yes.
in the first place.
you shouldn't take it at all.
No, and look at that amount that we put with that
The
question
Constitution
that I
is
put
higher
to
than
Mr. Azim.
the Constitution is higher than
Where-
the code of conduct.
where we
And the
being
Constitution says
realistic?
that the Constitution states that your conduct should not be above that of the state or the public.
Let me go on to say that the code of conduct as well says that declare and give it to your boss. So in this case, who is the president's boss?
State. The state is his boss.
Did he declare?
He's giving, declaring, just as
He didn't declare to us. He didn't.
He didn't declare it to everybody. He declared to his workers. He said, take this thing. No, he has declared to
Because
the
his
state.
workers are his boss.
Who? There's nobody. Is,
Well, so
he's
I'm
the boss
reading
of
you-
the,
I'm-
he's the
I'm
executive
telling you what
president.
the
And
code
he's
of
saying
conduct
that he's giving it to the state protocol. He's giving it to the pool. It's not a declaration.
Honorable Beja,
I've received this car.
Were we,
State pool, take it. It's not a declaration.
were we being realistic when we put 200 Ghana cedis as stealing for a gift? In this code of
Well, that
conduct?
one we are not realistic. I just as my friend Vito said, we are not realistic. I mean, people give a gift, a shoe. How much is the shoe now? Somebody comes to give you a shoe. Some ties are even more than 200. 200 Ghana cedis, and they give it a suit of about 400 or 500 Ghana cedis, and said, I will not take it. If that gift is to influence you, let us look at the word influence.
But in this case, we are not able to tell.
see,
Listen,
that-
we acknowledge the fact that the president is human like you and I. You have friends, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yes, and the president can have friends as well.
Yes.
And there's a gift from a friend to a friend.
This is not an ordinary gift.
Neither are they ordinary friends.
Yes,
One is the
these are not-
president.
this is a Burkinabe who is interested in making money, and you tell me he's a friend. It's not a friend. You see, that 200 is realistic. It's just telling you how impossible it should be for you to take a bribe. That's why they call that 200. In any case, what can 200 do? So they tell you it should not exceed 200. That tells you that you should not even receive it at all. That's the meaning. Because how much is 200 Ghana cedis? And you're talking about gold, talk about shoe. The president, you mean our president today can't afford all these things? He can.
Exactly.
You see, that's why you can easily turn the person away to save yourself. And my friend is saying that, look, I understand him. For you to tell me today that the president has not received bribe, I'm telling you, there's no way you can convince somebody that the president, unless those who know the truth and will not say the truth. Because when you receive the car, like you said, if the president is leaving this country, everybody's told. Is that not the case? Because it's for all of us. So if he's leaving, there is a notice telling every Ghanaian that, look, the president is not in this country. If there's going to be anything state, we are all aware. Why is it that when the car was donated to the president and he wants to donate it to the states, we were not made aware? In any case, all the fleet of cars that we're talking about, they are all in the hands of the presidency. Or
Honorable, you are
Those fleet of cars.
you are a public
He's-
officer.
he's in charge of
you
all
are a
those
public
cars.
officer.
Yes.
But, Paul Otto wants me to ask you, indeed yourself as well, have you taken any gifts?
that's why I'm saying that, yes,
Of
like
a
I told you, I took gifts. When I go to my constituency, like I tell you, some people come.
Over 200 Ghana cedis.
Yes,
worth of
over
gifts.
200 Ghana cedis. Somebody will come.
And does that amount to bribe?
That's why I'm saying that in my case, okay, if I am not telling you, you wouldn't know. But I'm telling you that when I go to my constituency, people come, somebody will come, will give you yams, will give you a goat.
And you announce to the whole constituency
I
that
get to
people
know.
have
I
come
get to
give
know
you
that.
yams
I
and
get to
goats.
know that this man is trying to induce me. I get to know. Somebody comes. Oh, I want my child.
So
to
you
be-"
refuse them?
No, that's what I'm saying. I earlier on said that when the man comes, sometimes it's so this will take it away. But I try to tell him that, look, this thing you brought, you shouldn't do it because I don't need it. But in any case, now you brought it, don't do that next time.
So you consume what has been given to you?
Sometimes I give it to people. So most of the things they give to me, I don't consume them. I just give it to some people who are in need. But we are talking about the president, and we are talking about a car that is worth $100,000.
About 20% of the contract.
Are you getting me?
Of the
we are talking about the president, and obviously I am a public officer. I am an MP. I represent my constituents. I try to do some of these things, but I will not say it's not a bribe. Sometimes that's what I get to know in my mind that
Is it
this
a
man,
bribe?
It's a bribe. What is it?
The man was trying to bribe
The
the
man
president.
was trying to bribe me. That's it. Even if you are not able to do that thing for that man, the next time you go to his village, he will tell people, "Oh, I gave this man a go to help me. He didn't even help."
Should we arrest the man for bribing the president?
This Adam,
Because a bribery involves
The
a
president
giver,
has not even
a giver,
accepted that
a
it's a
giver
bribe,
and a
no.
taker.
Yes.
But you say it's a bribe. If you can
It's
prove,
a bribe.
if you can prove that it's a bribe, would you want that man arrested?
per all the facts available to us as at now, okay, it's a bribe.
Would you want him arrested?
The man in
Yes, the giver.
Why not? Why not? He's bribe our president.
And then you want the president
But we
also
must
arrested.
also have the capacity to arrest our
The president as well.
As well.
So we should arrest both.
That is the problem.
giver and the taker.
Whether we have the capacity.
Listen, now that Kafi talks about 20% of the total amount of money used, for this whole project, given in the form of a gift to the president, why would anybody do that?
That is the estimation of 20%. I don't think all the contract that the
I
man
think
has won.
The
just
first one was
that.
about $650,000.
The wall.
The wall. A wall. People are building a wall, $650,000. People have money.
You don't know the...
What wall? What wall? Is it
The
Jerusalem? wall?
NDC didn't build the wall. Was it an NDC who built the wall?
I said 250.
Okay, no, let me answer the
Okay,
question.
answer.
Yeah.
I'll come. When are we closing?
Well, if sorry, your question again.
Yeah, I was asking why anybody would give 20%.
And I was saying that if
out
you
of
put
that
all the
total amount.
all the costs, all the contract together, I don't think that would be the 10 or 20%. I mean, it's minute. No right-thinking contractor who wants to make profit will give 20% of his contract sum or being a profit to anybody. Nobody will do
The
that.
car came after the wall, right? The wall was built and then the car came.
I don't know. That one I cannot tell. But let's face it. Here we are talking about public office holders. Just as he quoted the Bible or the good book. The person, whoever does not have sin, let him throw the first stone. The president cannot go around the whole country. So he came to my constituency. The chiefs gave him cloth. That cloth, I'm sure, will be more than the 200. Will he go around the whole country? Everywhere he goes during his tour, people give him gifts. Does he declare to the whole nation?
We are all aware. When you go to your place and they give him a car, we hear. When they give him cloth, we hear. But this car, we didn't hear.
No,
That's
so
the difference.
that's the difference.
Yes.
Did he declare to the whole nation that I've been given cloth, I've been given this and that, I've went to this place, I've given... Let us face it.
Would it be would it be unrealistic if the president openly came and said, "Look, I'm not receiving any gifts. This is my policy. Please don't give me any gifts."
Maybe that's where we want to go.
Oh, I think Professor
Mills did that.
it.
He
That's
said
where we
that.
want to go.
It worked.
That's where we all want to go.
Because
I
then it
will-
takes away any ideas that
At all.
somebody's receiving something for
At
some
all.
future benefit.
And I'm
down the
sure
line.
he's a listening president. He'll get there soon. He'll just decide that, well, this is what is happening. I don't want to take it
He
again.
won't get the opportunity again. No.
So
It's finished.
I begin
After this one,
that.
he has taken-
Look, right from the beginning, you said it was a thin line.
Yeah.
Where do we draw that line?
Exactly. That's where we started from. It's a thin line. It is subjective. You have to decide. I have to decide. If we all come to conclusion that president should not take any gift, then we all know that
But there's
we
a
should not take it.
constitution, so
And the Constitution says that it should, whatever you are having, the interest of faith, your personal interest should not outweigh that of public interest. That's where we need to demarcate. Now, we cannot draw the thin line between your interest and public interest. Therefore, don't take it at all.
If this becomes a campaign issue and you lose, will you not be disappointed?
We will not lose. The people of Ghana have seen the good work that we are doing. We will not lose.
should you lose, would you be
We
disappointed?
will not lose.
Should you? Let's
We
just
will not
explain.
lose.
Mr.
And
Leader,
this will not lose.
is this a campaign issue?
They are going to lose. They've already lost. They are just compounding their issues.
Is this a campaign
This is-
issue?
No, it is not about whether a campaign. It's about public interest.
It is a
It's
campaign. This
Is it
was
linked to
given
the
in
corruption that
2012.
you've
Why
been
is it
talking about
coming
all
now?
along? Is this corruption?
That is, I'm telling you, he was talking about it is unwise for somebody to put his profit to that level to buy a car for the president. You were quantifying about 20
Based on the wall alone.
Yes,
Yeah.
that tells you how sometimes we inflate. We're talking about these inflated projects they are talking about. They will not listen. Listen, after the election, they've lost. This is one of, when you are dying, all manner of sicknesses, illness attacks you. That is their problem now. Because they are dying, all the rot is coming and it's catching up with you. How can you sit here and tell me that this is not an issue that the public will be interested in? They should be interested.
This will gain you votes?
It's just going to let the people know that this issue, especially when they ask you whether you take bribe, you say, me as a human being or as president, all of a sudden there is a bribery case against you. Meanwhile, you will receive a gift. Let's take it for almost 4 years. Your people are not aware for Manasseh Azure to bring it up. Then you tell me that you are not taking bribe. No, you take bribe.
Sometimes it amazes me that in their own party, when they are talking about corruption, they are talking about bribery and corruption. In their own party, where a whole coffers has been depleted. And they're not talking about that one. They're talking about somebody
this one is
who has
we are paying taxes.
Yeah, we will hold the government to stricter proof because the government is in charge right now.
This is our government.
And you are taking care of our resources.
And he's talking about somebody who has taken a gift and given it to the state.
Randy says that tell the NPP man they should find us a right message.
Randy.
Yes.
Oh, don't worry. Randy, this is one of the most potent message that people are looking at for outside.
Is it not just the minority trying to divert our
attention? Is it the minority that brought this issue?
This week we saw 500 buses donated to schools.
Yes, it's good.
And the president has just commissioned 1,500 houses.
It's good. All good. All is good. I'm not discounting it. Tell him that it's not the MPP that is bringing this.
He's watching,
matter.
so please speak to him.
Randy is my friend. He's my friend. I know him. He's my good friend. Or which of the Randys?
I don't know which one of them.
Only Randy is my friend.
Random Randy.
Thank you. You see, this issue is not from the minority. It's from a Ghanaian who is interested in making sure that, and this is not the first time Manasseh is coming out with some of these stories. As for corruption and John Mahama, they are like bedfellows. And Manasseh will always bring it out. Manasseh brought it out. The SADA issue, Manasseh played a very critical role, very crucial role, and unearthing some of the bad deeds that came. Today he's brought this story out. So it's not about the minority. It is about Ghana.
All right.
And it's your responsibility, it's Madam's responsibility. Yes. It's my responsibility.
It's called Biswa.
Biswa. And then my good friend.
Yes. On that national note, it's our collective responsibility to deal with issues like this. We'd like to say thank you very much, members of parliament, for Pandai constituency,
but there was
Matthew Nidam, and for the whole West
for you saying that members of parliament, what is it?
You were wasting time with Ali.
No, why?
You should have done this last week. He's buried.
But there are a lot of people who are dead and gone so many years now. We still
eulogize them.
We
need to fix the floods. Shout about those ones, please.
We shouldn't do that again.
Ali is important, but he's gone.
Well, yesterday we met with the institutions responsible for the flood.
Good.
Western Housing met with them. Issues that came up, and we thought we were going to go round. But we thought that we need to interrogate further before we go round. And one of the questions I asked was, how much will it cost this nation to put all these issues together, dredging, and so on and so forth, and
sort it out for all. It's a good question.
The gentleman in charge of Hydro said he'll give us the cost, and then we'll see.
We will follow it up. Thank you very much, gentlemen.